Hi, guys. I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. We're live.
Hey.
Back again for the book club. Do we have a name for
Hello.
this? The Wheel Talk Book Club? Or do we need
Now
a
we do.
fancy name?
Should we call it the wheel books? Wheel
The wheel
books.
books.
The Wheel Books? I don't
Wheel
know about that.
books.
What?
They're wheel books.
Oh,
They're
like you're a little
wheel-
baby. The wheel books.
They're wheel books.
No, we're not doing that.
No. All right. At least I didn't have to say it.
Absolutely not, Becca.
All right. We are back with Taylor from Backyard Kiln.
Hi, I'm
Welcome
here.
back.
Hello.
If you
Thanks for
missed the
having me.
last time, our first chat with Taylor was on 267 where we talked about big magic. So it's kind of fun to have somebody else to keep us accountable here,
Yeah,
bring us
As
back
much
to
as that works, I guess.
Well, I mean, it worked because I got it done. I don't know about Becca, but
I got it done.
pushing
I got
through.
it done. I think I got through most of it. Okay.
The thing is it's so like short, quick, and easy that it, you don't have to get super like deep into it to
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nothing like Big Magic. It's like
Mm-mm.
basically a pamphlet. It's
Right.
really small.
Right. So
Some
what book are we
ripped up
talking about
papers.
here
Oh yeah.
that we did this time?
Steal Like
We're
an
talking-
Artist.
Steal Like an Artist, but none of the other three. There's 3 books. We're
Yeah.
just doing the Steal one.
Just the Steal Like an Artist from Austin Kleon? Kleon?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like a 3-part trilogy, I guess, of Steal Like an Artist, something about like keep
Share
going
like an
or
artist or something. I don't know. I got a little bit into the next one and I was like, this is all about attribution. And I don't care.
no. Yeah, Steal Like an Artist, show your work and keep going. So we just
Yes.
focused on Steal Like an Artist for today. They kind of build on one another from what I saw, the brief looking into them. But are there like overall thoughts of Taylor, you were more analyzing the writing style and whatnot last time. I don't really pay attention to
Yeah.
that as much, but like we said, this was like short and more like a pamphlet, so it was definitely a different book.
Yeah, it was kind of more like reading a blog. I don't know. Like not well, I don't know. Hers was kind of like reading a blog too because it was like very personal and weirdly casual, but this feels it feels like your favorite teacher was like, "Oh, I've got all these thoughts from my notebook. I should make them into a book." And
That's exactly what it feels like.
and it's
Yeah,
got
and
like
like
little sketches and stuff within it.
yeah. Feels like a journal.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the chapters are very bite-sized. They're 10 chapters. Like you said, there's a bunch of infographics. I don't know how this would translate to audiobook. Becca listened to it.
I
So
listened to it too.
I'm curious how that experience was.
It wasn't bad.
I found it very similar. I mean, you don't miss a lot. You miss like his little poems where he blacks out the whole thing except for a few words, which didn't really mean a lot to me anyway. Like, where did he get this text? I don't know. Um, but the illustrations are minimal and cute. So either way, I think it works fine.
Yeah, and then there were certain sections that had little headings, and then I'm expecting some of the quotes to relate, like be called out in the text around it, but it
Right.
wasn't. So I was like, are they gonna like, do I need to read this or not? Like, I don't know.
It's not super formal.
Yeah.
Right, and I feel like the in the audiobook at the beginning it says like, hey, we realize that the book is very visual, so we changed it a bit so that it made sense, essentially.
Right, yeah, like taking out some references to illustrations or whatever.
Yeah. All right. So where do you want to start? Was there any like key takeaway areas that where we want to start at? Or Becca, do you want to hear the quote that was called out that I know you would like?
Was it the keep your day job?
No.
Yeah, I want to hear the quote.
It was so the quote, and it looks like so I wrote notes about the different chapters, and it looks like the points I wanted to bring up here. Chapter 8 had a bunch of them. The quote was modern art equals I could do that plus yeah, but you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to talk about that actually, because
You
I
always
was
love
going
that
to,
quote.
I love that quote. And I'll tell you why I love that quote. Most importantly is because in college, I stayed at my professor's house while he was on the East Coast. Like his now husband lived on the East Coast, and so every summer he would just basically move to the East Coast. So I lived in his apartment, and and in his bathroom on the back of the door, he just had a a, a big canvas that said, "But you didn't."
Mm.
And I just always loved that. And as like an artist of especially being in college when they're like, well, I could have done that. And it's like, oh yeah, but you didn't. So fuck off. Like it's like it doesn't matter. It just matters who got there first or who
Mhm.
got theirs seen first, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you can do it doesn't mean you would have thought of it.
Right.
So,
Or should you do it, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, and the part that I saw that related to that in that same area was talking about really good work, and that when you see it, it really appears almost
Mm,
effortless when it's
Mhm.
made. You're like, oh
yeah,
man,
for
it was
sure.
so simple. It's like a
Yeah.
really straight walled cup or something that is just so basic. You're like, oh,
So
okay,
simple yet so good.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that one of the hardest forms to actually make is a perfect cylinder, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or
And
seeing people throwing that is they're so skilled at it that it's just
hmm yeah,
so I
it
love that.
is,
I knew you would like
yeah,
that quote.
I do love that. The simplicity in art is just something I've always loved.
Mhm.
If you can't tell by the pieces that I make. But yeah, and like it's almost like a race to who gets seen first, you know? And I mean this guy's right. We're all just taking other people's ideas, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just assimilating them. I feel
Yeah, I
like
mean,
that happened a lot to me in my clay journey. Like
mhm.
like you just find stuff that you like and you're like, "Can I make that?" And then you try it and you're like, "No, that was really hard, but I learned something good out of it, you know?"
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Was
Hmm.
there an example of something that was it watching somebody that was very skilled in it, or was it just stumbling upon?
I think just finding things like on Instagram, like you do when you're first starting out and you're just like, "I'm gonna follow every pottery page that exists." And at least that's what I did. I don't know. Um, I remember finding a a pot that was my sister was like, "Oh, you're doing pottery now. Will you make this for one of my succulents?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." It was pretty simple. It was like a cylinder and it was supposed to look like a ghost and it had a little ruffle around the bottom edge, which was a
Mm.
fun thing to learn to make. And then it just had like a very simple like eyes and mouth face. And I tagged the creator when I finished it and I was like, I didn't know how to attribute anything or say like this was inspired by so and so. Like I didn't know shit about like how to play nice in the art world.
Etiquette.
Yeah, I just didn't know. And and anyway, the creator saw it and she messaged me like right away and she was like, "No, do not." And I was like, I'm sorry, my sister just saw this and asked if I would make it, and I just started doing this." And she was like, "Listen, has every single element. You can't pass this off as yours because every single element is exactly the same as mine." And I was like, I wasn't, I didn't, I don't want to sell them or anything. I'm really sorry. Like, she was really harsh with me.
People are
And
so fucking dumb sometimes.
I was just like, geez, like, I just started pottery like less than a year ago, and I just wanted to make something for my sister. And,
Right.
like,
That'll scare some folks off, you know?
yeah, I was like, shit.
Hmm.
You're like, I don't want to share anything.
Yeah.
anymore, or I don't want to make
I don't want to
anything
attribute
that
anything
resembles
anymore.
anybody. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there's something that in my sleepy stupor of I don't know if everybody figured out like everybody saw, but I fell asleep halfway through this book. It wasn't halfway. I was pretty much towards the end. I woke up in the second book.
I mean, if you
So
got to chapter 8 and heard that part, you were
Yeah,
I was
more than halfway through it.
yeah, I was pretty far. But there was a part that he basically is like, you're not going to learn anything if you try to do your own shit. You're going to, if you don't copy other people's ideas, then you won't develop ideas that are past those
right.
Mhm.
to make something that's individual to you. And I think that that is so like so many people, especially in the pottery world, just well, I'm sure in the art world in general, um, they just don't. They are scared to do that. And
Yeah, because you get yelled
I
at.
yeah, and like I know somebody who has gotten pretty close to like copying, not really copying, but like you can tell that they're taking a lot of inspiration from a lot of different artists, and it's finally coming into a moment that it's being developed into their style, and it's so beautiful to see because like there's just a lot of different pulls from a lot of different artists but it's strictly theirs.
hmm Hang on a second. I've got to. My kiln is running, and for some reason, I can smell it up here, so I'm going to open the window.
Oh, that's all good. There was a Dolly quote in that area that you're talking about, Becca, that read, "Those who do not want to imitate anything produce nothing."
Yeah,
So
I
they're
mean,
like
I think that's
tiptoeing and
true.
trying to
Good
avoid
deal.
imitating
Sometimes,
somebody, so they just
hmm,
like they get stuck. They can't make anything.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you
Do
got
you?
to try to make like a whole bunch of different, like wildly different things before you find your style.
Yeah,
That was a
for
struggle.
sure.
Like I was like, where is my style? What is my style? I just don't know. And I just kept making like all these divergent objects and I was like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my style is, but I don't know, somewhere along the line it appeared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of areas in there that was being talked about of just basically showing up to the studio or doing something daily, and
Yeah.
you develop a style and you develop your own originality just from showing up and doing it consistently.
Mm.
And that was
I
kind of
thought
like a
of you when I read that
discipline
part.
motivation thing, as well as not overthinking it, not feeling like you need to go in with a plan every day. You just need to like do it every
Yeah,
day.
just put the
Yeah.
clay on the wheel and just make a thing.
Yeah. That's what I've been doing with that art journal that I've been doing. I mean, like, yeah, I haven't done it every day. I live a very weird life. But the days that I do it, I learn something new almost every single time. And it's so fun, especially when you don't have any ambitions for it, essentially. You're just like, this could be whatever it wants to be. And
Hmm.
then you mess up and you figure out how to cover that up. And then, it continues from there. And it's been such a fun experience. I remember a professor in college who ended up hating me at the end of college.
Oh,
It's okay, it was a common theme. Um,
yikes.
at the end of college, and she said that she always, like when she was kind of like new, she would always just paint for 2 hours a day. And it didn't matter what she painted. Sometimes it was like the egg that she cooked. Sometimes it was her foot. Sometimes, it didn't really matter, but she became huge in the art world after that. And it just kind of like shows you. I also feel like people aren't really willing to put in that type of work anymore sometimes to find their style. I will say that though.
I
I don't
think
know where that
maybe
came from, but
expectations need to be adjusted when you start something
yeah.
as difficult and multifaceted as pottery, which is it's a cluster of skills that is so much more than draw, shape, put paint on canvas. Like
Yeah.
it's just a huge number of skills that you need to master in order to get one pot out, you know. And I think
Right.
the idea of like being good first of all and then having a cohesive style, it's just like a really big ask for most people because it's not just
Yeah.
one thing, you know.
Is there enough patience, do you feel like, these days? That I worry that people are not patient enough to say, how long have you been doing it? And seeing other people that have been doing it for years, and like most people, well, I don't know. I feel like most people around me that I know of don't sell for quite a few years until they've been in it. I mean, maybe it's like when I was coming into like the digital area, as well as seeing other folks around me and being exposed to way more people
Mm-hmm.
online, that it
Mm.
just seems like a lot of folks are just jumping in really quickly with making and selling, and
I
rather
think
than
they get the idea that it's easy,
Yeah.
and it's really, really, really hard, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know that Ryan and I both, when they ask us how, like, we both didn't start selling for like almost 6 years,
Yeah.
you know? And I feel like I find that the people that,
some of it's time of your life as well. Like it makes sense
yeah,
that I'm not selling 2 years in
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just starting college 2 years into making.
Right.
If so,
True.
like that doesn't. I mean,
yeah.
but if I
But
was
at the
in high
same
school and I
time,
started with Instagram 2 years in, maybe like 4 years back when I started. Depends on
yeah,
what resources you have access to.
yeah. But at the same time, like, in this book, he basically goes like, you shouldn't wait to start. And I think that has merit too, like maybe the faster you start, the faster you learn, you know?
Yeah, just doing things, just by nature of doing things, you'll figure something out.
Right. Like, how long did you wait, Taylor, to sell stuff?
Uh, it wasn't that long, but I just like filled up my cabinet and then the cabinets in my family's house. And then I was
Right. Like,
like,
you get to a point where
what
you're
am I
just like,
gonna
I
do
gotta
with
get rid of
this?
this.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I'll put this up for $10 on Etsy, like,
Yeah.
and people got a 4-ounce mug, but they wanted it, so they were happy,
Mm-hmm.
And that's like,
But I
I think
wasn't
that's
saying it
the
was
best
good.
way to start is to sell cheap and to sell, like, be honest, with the
Yeah,
people and be like, well, it's $10.
yeah, like this is what I am capable of making, and here's what it's worth.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know.
either you could buy a meal at McDonald's or you can buy this $10 cup. They might be the
Yes.
same value,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and those
Mhm.
early folks are trying to support your interests. Like they could
Yeah.
see that
Yeah.
you're interested in this. There's a reason that they're drawn to it, even if it's subtle. It's like, I really like that color.
Yes. And some of
Yeah.
those people are still following me on Instagram today, which is
Yeah.
kind of great and nice.
Yeah.
Although
I
I've
feel like I
probably
definitely
expensive for
started
them now.
selling before I even knew anything,
Yeah, I didn't know.
really.
This was like the wildly divergent phase of my clay career. It was just like, whatever. Sure. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what it is? I made a lot of succulent planters in different configurations.
You know what that can be used for? Planter.
Planter,
Planter.
no handle necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's a planter.
Well,
What did you all think about
oh, go
the?
ahead.
What did you think about the area where they were talking about separating your workspace out? You're talking about
I
digital and
loved
analog.
that part.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really do clay virtually. So, I don't know how.
Well, no, but you kind of can. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think that we can kind of move this into a Instagram a real TikTok situation where there's a lot of people that everything they do, they videotape
Mm-hmm.
in hopes of like getting something. And then, but there's a lot of times that like if you're just on the wheel and you're just fucking around and you're just trying to like figure out,
You're less focused on the lighting and getting the angle right
yeah,
and moving your
Yes.
hands in a way that is not natural because you're trying to like get the best view for the camera.
And then you mess it up, and then you're like, ah, fuck. Now I got to start this over.
You're like, but
rather
that's
than...
content because I messed up. So like that's alerting, and then I gotta like,
It's like, oh my God, yeah. Like, just make
yeah,
some
like,
stuff.
yeah, they're so focused on getting it captured on video. And I think that we could, as a society, just generally really, um, really benefit from just turning off the cameras every once in a while and just making whatever for whatever.
Yes, just
Um,
be,
yeah.
yeah.
wait,
I
there's not a
definitely agree.
business in just dropping pots all over the ground day after day?
What? What?
That could be a thing, couldn't it?
Couldn't it be? Yeah, I think maybe you could probably
I
just
mean,
ruin
pot
pots for
punisher.
400 days in a row.
Pot punisher.
And
Yeah.
pot
Yeah.
punisher.
You know, pot punisher? Like, that's all she does, is she looks cute and ruins pots, so.
Oh, I don't know that person.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about somebody else.
I love pot punisher.
I'm gonna look.
Might need to
She
look that
wears
person up.
like saucy little outfits, and she jiggles her butt around and sits on like bisqueware that's ruined.
Oh.
Pot punisher.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on Instagram as well?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 5,000 followers. Oh, I have seen
She's
her. I
great.
think I'm following her. Oh, wait, maybe not. Oh my God. I hope she has like an OnlyFans that she's
She
making
does.
money too.
She does.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
But like, her pots are good too. And I have a sticker of her on my car, which, is the most stickered car in this town. But
I feel like if I sat on a bisqueware pot with just my undies on, it might hurt. I'm not
do it
saying
for the gram.
That seems like a risk.
I think maybe it's greenware. I think it's greenware.
Okay, that
okay,
seems
Yeah,
like
greenware is
I
a
misspoke.
little bit better because I feel like bisque is a little more
No,
shard-like.
I misspoke.
Yeah.
I misspoke.
You're wasting a little bit of energy with
Yeah.
firing
Yeah, don't
pots
fire
and
it
then
if it's
risking
ruined.
cutting yourself. But maybe that'll appeal to some people. I don't know.
I'm
That's
sure that's
fucking
a thing.
hysterical.
But
That
yeah,
is
I
so
love
funny.
pot punisher, and that's
Maybe
what
that's
she
an-
does.
Okay. Maybe
We
that's
were
on the
talking-
OnlyFans, the bisqueware. That's on OnlyFans.
No, that's for the hardcore fans.
Right.
But
wanna
she
see the
doesn't
blood.
make the exact same video every single day.
No, definitely not.
No. There are some people that do that and they have great success from that. So boring.
But
Yeah.
I like the phones down. Like keep your phone out of the
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
Focus on what you're doing. I mean, it leaves you in
Yeah.
a weird spot when you're thinking about what to post, but I don't think that's such a bad idea. Like that,
Well,
there's bigger problems out there than worrying about what do I need to post this week because I got to keep up with my quota or whatever.
Yeah, he talks about sharing at the end too, and like keeping a journal of everything you did that day, and like making sure that you share something every day. And I was like, oh, why are you putting this pressure on me? Like, I don't want to share. I don't even do clay every day. Like,
Oh, did he say share it every day?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw the internalized part of keeping it for yourself, of keeping a journal so you can look back on it and see your accomplishments, or the task of writing something positive. What was the best thing you did today? Maybe
yes, but where is it?
the logbook. What's the best thing that happened today? I like that part.
Yes, I like that part too. Well, he says like, oh, I thought I saw something about. I didn't highlight it.
Yeah, this was chapter 9 where that part is talking about the logbook. There's another part in there that I really liked. I mean, obviously I like this because I do this. Making a calendar and filling a box each day, even if
thought
it's
of
just
you.
Xing
I
out
thought
of the
of you.
box.
Yes.
Building the chain, and then because you visually see it, you link the chain and you want to see
Yes.
it build, and you build that momentum, and you're like, now I can't break the chain because I have to
Yeah.
cross that box
you know
out.
what's funny is that I don't have that at all.
That's the neurodivergence. Hello. Like, I felt personally attacked by that. I was like, okay, but friend, if you had my brain, you would know that there's nothing worse to me than having to check off a box every day. Like, that makes me want to just crawl into a hole. Like, I can't, my brain
I
can't do it. It just
well,
don't.
mine's different too. Mine, I do not find any joy in checking off a box, like and seeing that chain. I actually find more joy in skipping a day and seeing the mess up. Like, I don't know if that's like an intense PDA situation where like I'm trying to avoid like
Task
succeeding.
avoidance. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but yeah, like you should see my pillbox right now.
Oh my God.
Rough,
You are making me worried. Take your
rough.
pills every day. This is not a
Well,
fly.
here's the deal. Now I'm taking like pills every other day because I'm running out of pills and I'm gonna
Oh.
be at a doctor in the middle of December.
Oh, you need a
She's
refill
trying to
before then. Can't
trying
you
to
call them
ration
and get a
it.
refill?
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna call
Usually if
and
you
make an
call,
appointment.
if you call them and say, I need a refill, they'll just send it. You don't even have to talk to the doctor usually.
Yeah, we'll see.
Seriously, just take care of your brain.
That sounds like a no, but
No, I
Becca.
mean I'm gonna call them. I just don't know if they'll refill it. I mean I obviously am already prescribed, but it's Tennessee. You never know. You never know these people, you know. I've already bailed
I mean
on one
they got the
doctor's appointment.
telehealth these days.
Yeah, telehealth's great because then you can go anywhere.
I
Right.
guess that's true. I've never done telehealth, and the last time I did anything online, it charged me like $600. So
Oh
I'm a
no.
little scarred from that.
No, there's plenty of legit telehealth places to go if you need
Okay.
them.
Well, anyway,
Anyway,
regardless.
yeah.
Taylor, do you enjoy the box checking
No.
or accomplishment of doing something
Mm-mm.
in the day?
Well, okay. I'll tell you what I do is I have a to-do list because I can't remember a task that it needs to happen unless it's written down and I can look at it again later. So I've got a reminders list every day. And it's got some of the same items are on it every day, and they've got
Mhm.
little radio buttons next to them so I can like just tap and it checks it off,
Yeah.
which
So
I
that's
do
a
find
digital. You
satisfying.
keep that digitally.
Yeah,
And
I've
but
got
it doesn't have like a forward going or backward going. It's just the same document every day. And at
right.
the end of the day, I'm like, oh, look at all the little yellow checks I made. And then I delete those tasks and I put new tasks in.
I got
That
a to-do
helps.
list too. It's called do exclamation point. That's the to-do list I got, and
Hmm.
it's very nice. I'm also a checklist person, but I'm not a day person. Like
Mm,
checklist in the day, yes. Every day, no.
right. Yeah, I've got tasks on here that have needed to be done for a couple of weeks and haven't gotten done, or maybe months.
Yeah.
But like, I even put self-care tasks on there. It's like, did you brush your teeth? Did you do your skincare? Did you take a shower? Like,
Mm-hmm.
did you take your meds? Like, if I got those done, I can check that off. And it
Right.
motivates me to brush my teeth, which is great. Brushing my teeth
Brushing
is
teeth
fun.
is hard.
You
It's a
start
sensory
with a check
nightmare.
immediately. You get to your list and you're like, all right, we're in a good spot. We already got something on checked off.
Exactly. And that does motivate me to do all of them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I can't check it off until I've done all four of those things.
So
And
are you,
usually
it
like,
sounds like you're doing this continuously. So it's not something
yeah.
you wake up and you make the list that day.
No, the list is always here. And it always has like auditions on it. I check that off every day and I uncheck it at night. But it also has things like record Wheel Talk podcast. Oh, I just checked it off.
There you go.
Yay,
Love
dopamine.
it.
But yeah, that's the kind of thing that works for me. But it doesn't make me do the same thing every day. Like really would I really struggle to just do anything
Yeah.
every single day
I'm a
unless I'm being
multi-list kind of
paid.
guy, and it's tough. Like for me at work, I started keeping a list of time slots because I can't motivate myself to get something and focus on it and try to like get to a completion of it when there's no hard deadline on it.
Hmm.
But I'm like, I would like to work on this for an hour before this
Hmm.
next meeting or whatever. So I try to put time slots and then I can see what's left on the list. And that gives me something to work off of the next day if I don't get to everything.
That's great. Work on something for an hour. I have trouble with that because I like hyper focus on whatever it is. And like if an hour's gone by and I'm still in the middle of it, I'm like, I can't stop now. I have momentum. and then I
Mhm.
have to finish it. But I think for tasks like financial organization or something like that, I could be like, oh, phew, an hour's over. I'll do
Yeah.
another hour another day.
Mm.
I think
Right.
that's a
So
great idea.
so I like that for work because otherwise I can't keep on task and
Mhm.
get things completed reasonably. Because if I look back on a week, I'm like, I didn't get as much stuff done. But if I have a list like that, I get a lot done. And then I have a weekly task, so I have like daily things, easy things of like, Erica's gonna be in the studio on this day, and we get a podcast this day and this day.
Mm.
And then I try to do like other things that I'd like to get done, like send this specific email that I need to do or whatever. It's not super granular, but maybe there's like 3 things on there each day.
Do you throw pots every day?
No.
I had like this idea, and maybe it came from your like challenge where you were doing like a certain number of pots a day, that you're like
Yeah,
really structured about it.
I did that for about 4 months earlier this year. It was, what was it, for throwing 15 pots for 4 days a week.
Oof.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
see, I
was,
think I could do that. Like if I was like, if I'm gonna work in the studio 4 days a week, I could do that.
yeah.
I could check those 4 boxes
So,
off.
I mean, I'm probably in the studio 4 days a week at least, but I'm not throwing pots four
Right.
days a week.
Right.
So, it was fun for the time it was, and it had its place, but I have the flexibility now to not do that. In a way, I'm like, I set a goal for myself, so I'm going to do it. And I checked off
Mhm.
every single, I got every single day
That's awesome.
of the 4 months. And if I was like going on a trip, I still did that week because I like front loaded it. I did it leading up to it. I did an extra day certain weeks before, and I would cross off a day of the week I was going to be gone. So like I made up for it,
So disciplined.
but
Kudos.
that's just how I work.
Mm.
But it's probably to my detriment sometimes during that because I was forcing myself to throw when I probably could have been doing something else to complete other pieces that were in
Right.
flight. So it's a balance.
Right. Yeah, because of all those other tasks that you have to do too.
Right.
There's so many. I've been rushing
I
through an order this week. Like somebody last week was like, "Will you make me 15 cauldron mugs, and will you make them by next Friday?" And I was like, "I would never do this for anyone but you." And I did do it. They're in the kiln
and
right
you
now.
got it
They're
done.
in the kiln.
Wow, that's great. Even
It
with
was
attaching, because you got little feet you got to attach for the cauldrons, and you
3
got
feet
handles.
and a handle. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I made 20 of them because I didn't, get
Right.
count for failure. So,
And those would sell regardless, I think. As long as
I
they're not
think so.
customized.
No,
But
they're not. They're just plain old blue and brown bear.
wow. That's
So
great.
yeah, I hope that they sell. I mean, in any case, it's a wholesale order. She's paying me up front, so who cares if they sell?
Oh
Yeah, exactly.
Except that she's my friend, so I want them to. But anyway, yeah, that's the most rush I've ever probably done. Like really pulled all the stops
Yeah,
out.
that's quite a timeline for
Yeah,
15 pieces.
it was. I hope they turn out okay. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Thank you.
It's
And
gonna
you
be fine.
planned accordingly to get more done just in case.
Yes. As long as all the handles don't fall off, it'll be all right. One of the quotes I really loved, which was right in the dedication, and it's that it's one of my theories that when people give you advice, they're really just talking to themselves in the past. And I
I love that.
fucking do it all the time. I'm sure it's very annoying to my friends because they'll come to me with a problem and I'm like, you should do this. And it's really just like me saying like, do you really want to be with your husband? Like, is that really what you want? Are you sure? And like that's just me talking to me, 7 years ago. I just want every
That's
straight
pretty
woman.
heavy advice.
I just want every straight woman to realize she's gay, leave her husband, and find her best life. And that's
Obviously.
like, it's like, how straight are you? Really? Are you really straight? Maybe you're not. Think about it. Like, I'm just talking to me. I'm not really talking to them. I'm like, don't let that man take advantage of you. Not that my ex did that. He's a really great guy. But I have this like thing where I get so triggered by my friends' partners who like don't have a job right now and aren't really looking for one, and they're worried about money, and it's like, just make him get a job, like, or don't be with him. If he doesn't want to help support the family, then just don't, like,
just fucking leave.
I'm just
you're seeing the
talking to
similarities
myself.
and you're like, this is what it's going to lead to if you don't
Yes.
do something now, and this is what you should look out for. And
Yeah, I'm just giving advice to myself in the past, which is unhelpful for them. I'm absolutely positive. So I've been trying not to do that. So.
What area of the book was that in?
That's in the dedication.
Yeah, it's in like the very
Page
beginning.
1.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even write a note about that.
He said he was giving himself advice in the past just through making this book.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's very similar to like if somebody's having a bad day and they like get pissed off at somebody while driving, you're just like, they're probably having the worst fucking day of their life.
Yes.
And
like,
you kind
this is
of like, you have to
you.
like think about that. Yeah. It's not really about you. Yeah.
That's exactly right. What else do I have in here? Stop worrying about what's good and bad. There's only stuff worth stealing and stuff not worth stealing. I love that because then you don't judge something as like, I can be a very like, for a non-binary person, I can be a really binary thinker. Well, that's the autism, but like, it's like, that sucks or that's amazing. And like, those are the only 2 categories that I really sort things into. And this way it takes the like judgment and the moral words out, and it's just like, would I like to steal from this or would I not?
Right.
And I can just let it be its own thing if it's not my thing.
I saw somebody recently. I was at a show for a friend and I was walking around and there was this lady. Oh my God. Her art, like her earrings were so beautiful. And I always ask, I am like a prolific stealer. Okay. So I always ask people what they're doing and like talk to them like I'm not gonna take all of their ideas. And
you're an idea thief. You're not a
yeah, I'm an idea thief. Like one time I saw this lady and she's basically using shrinkadinks, like shrinky dinks as earrings, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking do that. And like went to Ryan's house and did it. No, I did it at Sarah's house, and I was like, made these shrinky dink earrings. And this lady is basically drawing on paper, and then she's free flowing resin onto that paper, and the edge of the paper holds in the resin because it's like, you know those like tile videos with the glaze and how they always like stay put, essentially the exact same thing. And I was like, that is so fucking cool. Like, and I'm just in my brain, I'm like, how can I apply this to clay? How can I do this? Like, how can I apply? If I put resin on clay pieces, then the clay pieces wouldn't break. And if like all these things. And I don't know, I've always approached life that way, and maybe that's bad, but maybe it's good.
That's exactly what he's telling you to do in this book.
Well, maybe that's why I fell asleep.
You were like, I already knew this book as well. I need no advice.
I need nothing
to do it.
Yeah, I just needed the permission.
Yes.
But you've got so many influences that you've already trialed. You're already got a certain style you could go into, and then you could completely part ways with it, and you're onto something new. So this could just be
I'm very flighty. Piece. Yeah, I'm very flighty.
Multifaceted.
So like me stealing something from you means that it'll be available for maybe 10 minutes, and then I will move on to the next thing, and no one will ever hear about that again. So
what else do I have? Oh, copying is about reverse engineering. This is from page 33.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It's like a mechanic taking apart a car to see how it works. And it really is. Like when you try
really
to copy
something,
especially in clay, it's like, how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah.
And like trying to put the pieces together from the final product.
And that is so how you learn. Like that's the only way to learn, really. I mean, if you're only making your own shit up and you're not trying to copy somebody that's better than you, then where you're not even moving up. You're stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really true. Like that's how I pick who I'm following on Instagram now. It's like, is this person better than me, first of all? And then also is it inspiring to me? Is there something I want to take from it?
Yeah.
And you know, that's how I decide to follow.
I
Because
think
I don't
that's
need
fair.
more like things that I already know how to do in my feed. I want to wonder, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Right. There's an area they were talking about. I feel like this was maybe early, talking about like your influences and surrounding yourself with. It's kind of like
Hmm.
your you said idea income, and then like talking about you're usually the average of your 5 closest friends. He was talking about income in
Mm.
one situation, but he was also talking about the ideas that like you're an accumulation of the ideas you're around and the people you're around, and that's kind of like
Yes.
what's gonna influence what you make and how you make it. And
Yeah. And that's what I see
Yeah.
every day, and that's why I want it to be good because I want to
I think it's
amalgamate it.
I think it's funny that every single self-help art book we've read has also been like, don't go into debt.
Yes. It's
yeah,
because
that
there's
was
so
in
many
there.
of us that have no money.
Yeah. It's just like, just don't fucking go into debt. That's
You
all we
don't need to
ask.
go to school. Just learn your craft.
That was a
You don't
quote
go
in
into
there, but it
debt.
wasn't referenced in the actual text. And I was like, is it going to be mentioned here? It was just a heading of
Yeah.
that section near the end of the
Right.
book.
It's true. He didn't really expound on it at all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I love this thing from chapter 3. The best advice is not to write what you know, it's to write what you like. And I realized I
Yeah,
have
I wrote
Yes.
not
that too.
been like making the pots that I like. Like I haven't been edgy enough is the thing. Like the stuff that I really love is stuff that's like covered in swear words or like
Right.
subversive in some way. And I'm like, look at this pretty garden I carved. Like what I want to make is things that are like challenging and like that you couldn't sell in a church parking lot. Like
Versus something that's more palatable to the
yeah, like
Yeah.
masses.
I don't want to water myself down. Like
I think
there's
another way
no.
to think of that is if you got stuck making that for the rest of your life, how much of a like burden would that be on you? Like,
Yeah.
if I got stuck making something that I was like meh about, I'd be like, God fucking damn it.
I
Like,
hate
Oh,
this.
like if it caught fire and it really
yes.
hit it off, and you're just like,
Yeah.
well, I got to take advantage of this.
All
Yeah.
I made for the rest of my life was pinch pots. Like that's it. Which I actually quite enjoy. But that like that's the kind of thing like all you make for the rest of your life is a bowl. And you're like, great.
Mini
Fucking great.
pumpkins.
Mini
Yeah,
pumpkins.
mini pumpkins. Like something that you're like, I wouldn't buy this, but I'm gonna make it for the money. Like that is not what you should be making. You should be like risking it and making what you like because if you make what you like, people will know. They'll like see how much you like it, you know?
Yes. And they'll like it too.
Not all of them.
Well, I mean, you'll
Not the
attract the
white church
people.
ladies.
You'll attract the people who like that stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
that inspired me. That really inspired me to like I think if I made mugs that said fuck on them like every day, it'd still be fun. I'd still have fun like stamping the little letters in every time. I'm like, ha ha, it's got a bad word on it, you know?
Yeah. And then you graduate to the word cunt.
Yes.
And then,
One of my favorites.
and then, yeah.
Motherfucker.
And then you
Son of
graduate
a
to fuck
bitch.
cunt. And then, and then fuck
I
cunt.
don't know. This is going to be the most explicit podcast you all have ever had.
I'm
But
like,
Fuck
what is
cunt.
Becca's feedback gonna be?
Fuck cunt.
I did some cauldron mugs back in the summer that said fuck transphobia on them, and one of them, the last one, just got bought, and the woman has been promoting the shit out of it. Like she drinks out of it while she does her videos. And I'm like,
Just
I'm
like
gonna have to make
is she
more of
like a
those.
subtle like picking it up and just drinking out of it,
Yeah,
like when she's making points or whatever?
yeah. And I was like, now I gotta make more of those. And I was
Fuck is
just
such
thinking,
a
I really don't want to make any more cauldrons.
right. Well, you could
You
just
just say
make a
like,
mug and then just have it say that.
I know, but it has this witchy vibe to it that's so nice,
mm,
you know.
Yeah.
It has this great, like, that's the sort of people who would have that mug also love cauldrons.
Do you love cauldrons?
I did until this week. Damn.
Damn.
Those things are so annoying.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, doesn't really relate, but I think that the word fuck is very versatile,
Yes.
which if you are aware of its versatility, like in a like neurodivergent sense, um, it just becomes hilarious when people say things like stop fucking me over or something like that. You just
take it
like
very literally.
yeah, and you're just like that is so funny, and that's all I have to say.
Okay. The new plug-in fire kilns have been landing on people's doorsteps. Ryan and Becca are already putting theirs to the test with mini mugs, spoon rests, glaze tests, and packing it tight for bisque firings. Its interior dimensions are 8 by 8 by 9, and it can be plugged into any 15-amp outlet, making it very versatile for a range of ceramic artist needs. See how we're using the plug-in fire kiln on our Instagram account at Wheel Talk Podcast, and order yours from hotkilns.com.
there's an area in the middle of the book, chapter 5, they were talking about side projects, and
Yes.
kind of like those are the ones that really do take off, where you're just messing around. I mean, in a way, the podcast is a side project, or it started that way. You know, doing a variety of things are just like, oh, it's kind of nice to be able to bounce around to different things. And it's not
Right.
You're not so set on doing one or two things, and that's just everything that you have to do, because
Well,
we can get
yeah.
bored sometimes.
And some of the greatest minds in the world have had things. Was this in Big Magic, or was it something else I was reading? Where, like Einstein, when he's stuck on a project, would always like play music or something so it could be unstuck, because that artistic like hobby or in that like artistic side project really like opens up your mind, and like then it makes your stuff better, the stuff that you're doing better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Was
was
that
from
in Big Magic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the painting the stars on bicycles chapter, I think.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's hard because I keep having hobbies and then I want to monetize them. This is like the curse of the millennial. Like, if only I could just like make another $15, with this painting.
Dude, my mom, the most unartistic woman on the fucking planet, called me, and she goes, "Do you think that I could like make those rugs that I make and sell them?" And I was like, "No, I don't. I don't think you should do that. I think that's a terrible idea." And she's like, "Because it costs like $45 to make a mug." And I was like, "No, Mom, you don't even like people. Like you can't even go, like you couldn't
You
go.
don't even like people.
You could not go to a show and sell these to people. You would be awful to be around afterwards." And like, and she was like, "Well, I was thinking you could take them." And I was like, "No, I'm not fucking doing that. No, abso-fucking-lutely not." Well, I didn't say that because she's really worried about my cussing. But
Absolutely not.
but then we started talking about Etsy and stuff. And so what she's gonna try and do is make her rugs into pot holders, and then I'm gonna make an Etsy for her so that she can sell them if she wants. And if she doesn't, that's fine. But still, I was just like, I cannot believe that this plague has like cursed my family.
Oh.
And like, it just, I was infected first, and it took such a long time to get to the second person. And
proximity helped, I think.
yeah, I was really hoping it would never get there,
Oh my gosh.
I was just thinking that I could make a little extra money.
No.
Oh my God.
You spend
You
X
can't.
amount of time to hopefully sell something for $15, but
Yeah,
you probably
don't.
spent however many hours and however much money to get to make it sellable, and then you're like,
Maybe you should stop spending money. How
There
about
you
that?
go. That's the ticket. Just don't spend so much.
that's too
It's so
logical,
true.
Becca.
I
So
know.
true. But like that's and I mean, Sophie and I started making music together last year. She's a guitarist and I sing. And so like it was just a fun thing that we did, but then we did a few shows and now it's a thing that we have to prepare for and
Right, you gotta practice.
for, and it's like, where did the joy go?
Yeah.
Like this was fun and now it's like
It's down in your heart, Taylor.
And are you stressing about it too?
well, yeah, before a show I always get stressed out.
Right.
And then we play the show and then I'm exhausted afterward. And it's
Are
not like
you enjoying it in the moment because
No.
you're like conquering something that you set yourself to do, and then you ended up doing it, and you're
No.
living it, and then you're
You
like
need to
relieved?
kibosh it.
I need to get back to just doing it for fun. Now that we
Yeah.
have like a full set list and like we've practiced every song into the ground, it's just like not as much fun anymore.
Does Sophie find it annoying too?
No, she loves it. She'll always be like, "Come sing with me," and I'm like, "I'm too depressed right now." Like,
You know what? I hate to say this, but it might be one of those things that you just gotta buck it up for Sophie.
I know. And I do when we have a show coming up, I do practice, but like I think this winter is going to be time because the basement's too fucking cold to do pottery. We're not gardening, and part of the time she won't be in school, and I don't usually have as much work, and like we're stuck indoors and it's dark. And that music really like pulled me out of that last. Well, it didn't pull me out of it, but it pulled me through a really bad mental health winter. Like I have winter PTSD now. And I think we need to just like keep doing that this winter because it's gonna help. It does help.
Okay, but did you get my Christian music joke?
What? No, say it again.
You said it's sucking the joy out of me. I don't know where it went. And I said it's down in your heart.
Oh, the joy, 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 joy down in your heart.
I didn't get that either.
Down in your heart. Down in your heart. Oh my God, yes, I went to VBS.
That's why I was giggling so much. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Just laugh at my mental health challenges. Giggling away over there. I ran VBS. Are you kidding me? I was a volunteer. That was the shit. Like, man, we did it.
Oh, yeah.
At our church. We
Yeah.
did it up.
VBS is the shit. Also, the snacks are on point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They put me in charge of media when I was like 19, and I like shot a video all week, and then I put it all together into this great iMovie video for the parents' night. It was lit.
The amount of different VBSs I went to so that my parents could be like, get the fuck out of here.
For free.
When I was a kid.
It's free babysitting.
It's like unbelievable. One time I went to VBS and I was supposed to be with my neighbor's group, and I accidentally got put into a different group, and I was freaked the fuck out. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, like this little baby introvert. And I'm like, yeah. And somebody like finally found out and they moved me over. But I was like, I don't know anybody and I hate it here. Like,
that's sad.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
anyway,
I went like a couple times, but maybe when I was like preteen kind of age. Something like that.
Preteen, that's like
it's
it's not cool anymore once you're that age.
No, it's not.
That's like, ugh, we have to play dodgeball again.
Or is that like 8? When do you usually go? Like 8 or 9, something like that?
Yeah.
8 to 10, something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For people that don't know what VBS is, what does that stand for?
Oh,
Vacation Bible School.
It's like a week-long thing that they bring in kids from the community. You could come in for free and spend half a day there, like listen to Bible stories, learn songs and motions. It's like summer
it was always during the summer,
play
right?
Games,
Play games,
eat food.
It's usually themed in some way. It was like winter wonderland one year, like under the sea, or like jungle, or like whatever. And there's lots of like, usually like the church is all decked out with all these decorations. It was like creative, amazing creative time, like where we could just be creative and make stuff And it was a cool, like, I mean, for the ice thing, we built these tables that were lit from underneath with glass that was frosted and they glowed. It was just like really cool.
That's where your creativity goes to flourish, actually.
Just for fun.
And yeah, and because they're Christians, they can't be like, you stole that.
I don't think we were even thinking about that back then. There wasn't even Pinterest back then.
I know.
We're old. Whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting, and have a lot of trouble with this, but it's true. Creative people need time to just sit around and do nothing.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say that
Agreed.
next. I knew Becca was gonna
Yes.
fucking love that.
I
I
fucking
hate it.
love that.
I hate it. The ADHD part of my brain is like, no, 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 no. Like, if I'm not stimulated, I'm uncomfortable. And
Mhm.
like sometimes I'll get amazing ideas when I'm in the shower, but most of the time not because I'm listening to a podcast. You know, like I'm always giving myself input, not letting my
Yeah,
brain
always
have
have
time to
stimulus
work.
going on.
Yeah.
Oh
I feel
man,
that
I
too.
can't. I am, well, Ryan knows this, but I am very good at like doing nothing and not having stimulus. Like my brain is a fucking ping pong ball. It's like a pinball machine in there, and like the amount of things that I think about and the amount of potential that I have in this little noggin is unbelievable. Man, if I had the drive, wow.
You create your
And
own stimulus inside your head.
Yes.
Hmm.
you've got the I feel like Becca, do you have the do nothing, like absolutely nothing, and then you have the next level up, which is just scroll Instagram, like reels,
That's
Yes.
just relaxing.
and then from there it's like actually doing something.
Well, I think that the scrolling Instagram for me is a decompression mode
Hmm.
that lets me like I'll eventually get bored of it and then I'll be like, okay, great. But also I find a lot of ideas on there,
Hmm.
and and also I find a lot of funny stuff. And for me, a lot of my identity, right? Well, not really identity, but like a lot of how I'm bringing joy, how I can give back to people right now is by posting funny videos on like Instagram.
I
And
appreciate that you do that, by the way.
thanks.
I
I
always know that there'll be something good on your
Yeah, you're doing the
story.
work for us not wanting to scroll.
Yes.
right. And I mean like yeah, it started out as me like scrolling for too long and finding funny videos. And it's kind of turned into like yesterday, I knew there was gonna be a ton of people that were just really fucking sad. And I was like, I'm literally like scrolling through Instagram with a purpose to like
Right.
find funny videos so that I can post it so that people get a little bit of reprieve from
Yes.
the shitty parts of the world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I
You're
think that
doing a
that's
service.
Thanks. I mean, I don't really scroll Instagram all that much anymore. You can tell when I do because the next day will be like full of like 35 videos. But
Hmm.
I
Like
remember
Pac-Man up
that,
there.
yeah, I remember there was one day that I did it and I was like trying to scroll and it was like a specifically like sad day. And I'm like, I can't find a fucking thing that's funny. Like, what is going on?
Oh.
So, yeah, but yeah, it's more of like my purpose now
Yeah.
than sitting and scrolling and doing nothing. But I really just like sitting in silence.
Oh, that sounds awful.
I mean, they were talking about in that quote that Taylor just read was about, good ideas coming from doing monotonous routine things like washing the
Yes.
dishes and
Yeah.
doing
Ironing your
laundry and
shirts. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
taking a walk. Like, yeah, that
Yeah.
and it's also like that stuff needs to get done too.
Right.
So,
Hmm.
For me,
yeah.
that's always been driving. Like driving really like boosts my mental energy. Yeah.
Opposite, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean everybody has something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I need to do ugh, I need to do it. I need to get back into it again because I remember when I started, I had some really, really bad problems after my eating disorder. I could not eat again. Like my stomach was just like giving me awful reflux all the time. And for like a good year, I could hardly do anything. And one of the things that helped was going to acupuncture. And she would just leave me there on the table with acupuncture pins. And I was literally unable to move. And she just put on like rain sounds. And there was like a poster of the beach above me. And that was it for 45 minutes. And like my brain was like writhing around in agony for like the first 10 or 15. And then I got into this headspace that was just like so chill. And then I'd start thinking slowly about like what kind of pottery projects can I do, or like what kind of stuff did I want to do with my house, or like what, like what kind of art stuff did I want to do. And it was just like so nice, but like getting through the brain thrashing is so hard for me. Like it's just grasping for anything at all, and it's so uncomfortable.
It's like forcing yourself to meditate or do something like that, where it's like,
Yes.
no, I can't just sit here and just do nothing or listen to somebody talk through meditation or
That's easier for me because then at least I can follow instructions. But when there's nothing, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And then you're
Ryan,
like, okay, how many minutes has this been? Or,
yeah.
Can I just sit here and, some people like do like breathing things where they just focus on your breathing.
Yep, done that
And
before.
that's a meditation that, can get stuff out of your mind, but
yes, it's helpful.
Ryan, do you feel like your walks are that for you? Because I feel like that's something that's very consistent, that's very like monotonous,
I do it obviously for the exercise because
Well, yeah.
I can drive up to the post office. I don't need to walk my packages up there. I do it because it's a routine thing. It gets me to get exercise every day, as well as if I'm like catching up on getting back to someone. Like Support and I do a lot of like voice notes to one another, and that's a way that I can focus on actually getting back to those and responding, or listening to a podcast that's shorter. Maybe it's like 30 minutes and I can actually get through the whole thing. Or
so the answer is no.
It's not forced to just like get out of my mind. Like I'll listen to something while I'm doing it. It's not just with no audio. I'm just doing it to enjoy the outdoors but it is a routine.
I bet that
has its
place.
Go on. It has its place and its functions, but it's not to just get everything on my mind for 15 or 30 minutes.
I honestly think that that's why, like, this, doing nothingness is why specifically men love to mow lawns. And so, yeah, so like, or anybody who does the lawn mowing likes to do it because, especially, I mean, yeah, if you're pushing a lawnmower, it's exercise and it's annoying as fuck. But if you're riding a lawnmower, like, the Beals neighbor, when I was there this summer, would mow his lawn like every single night at 9 p.m.
Oh my God.
Like,
wow.
And I was like,
want to smell.
And I was like, I don't even think those fucking blades are going. I think that he's just running around the lawnmower and it's his time to decompress and to like think about his day and to think about like just life, And I would imagine that that's a lot of men, because especially since men typically aren't taught to like reflect on things, that's probably their time to kind of just think it out,
I can understand that.
I could see that. I just keep
That's
going all day until I just hope that I can go to sleep and not be my mind racing. So I don't know if I just wear myself out the entire day until I'm just like waiting for the pillow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't do like a daily, reflection period. I'm just like, I just do the things I got to do or want to do, and then I'll go to sleep at the end of it. I don't know.
My dreams are a big part of my ideas and stuff.
Really? You have dreams that can translate to art?
Kind of. I have dreams that could be movies. So
that sounds nice. Mine would all be horror movies.
Oh, no, they're horror movies.
Oh,
but
okay.
I would say that mine are like slightly uncomfortable horror movies, which to any normal person might be a really uncomfortable horror movie. But yeah.
I had one where I was a great white shark this week. And I stole some children and raised them as my own. One of them drowned, but the other one's fine. So
It's amazing.
I don't know what that means, but my brain was. They say like nightmares, like is your brain like preparing you for like any situation that might occur? But like I don't think that that's gonna happen.
I don't think that I'm gonna walk into a mall and ninjas are gonna come out of the fountain, personally. But like,
Could happen.
it could happen. I don't think that 12 clowns are gonna take over, the entire like area that we're in. But it could happen.
Are you afraid of clowns?
Nope. No, I'm not. But I did have a dream that there was a bunch of murderous clowns. So, and we captured one.
Nice. Did you torture
Killed
it?
And we threw it out the door.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But anyway.
Trying to remember if there's another part here. Obviously, there was a whole section. The chapter 9 was talking a lot about kind of. I want to say it was about balancing. Well, it started with it takes a lot of energy to be creative. You don't have enough energy if you're wasting it on other stuff. So it was kind of like. It was also kind of like a limiting your mental input so that you can focus on the creative things that you want to do. Talking about day jobs and money and balance. I think that might have been the debt area I was talking about.
That was a debt area.
It's not the money you make, it's the money you hold on to.
Yeah.
Oh, I highlighted that part too, that it takes a lot of energy to be a creative thing. But I don't have, like, I have very limited energy throughout the day. And if I end up in the red, the next day and the next few days are going to be really bad. Like, if I borrow energy from another day, it's going to be bad. So, like, a lot of days I just don't have the energy to go do clay. If I get down there once or twice a week, that's all I can do. It does take a lot of energy. But the other part I highlighted in this chapter was I was kind of shocked at this when he was talking about relationships and marrying well, choosing your partner to be someone who could tolerate you. And my feminist hackles fucking rose up because he says it takes a real champion of a person to be married to someone who's obsessed with a creative pursuit. Lots of times you have to be a maid, a cook, a motivational speaker, a mother, and an editor all at once. First of all, those are a lot of them feminine words. If you need a mother, a maid, a cook, and you shouldn't be in a relationship. You need a mommy and not a wife, first of all. Just saying, like, he's got mother fucking in there. So my partner can tell you she doesn't have to be any of those things. And all I do is art for all of my jobs. So I was just like, ooh, sorry for your wife, dude. Like, shit.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, that was the bookend of that chapter, the marry well.
Yeah.
You mean marry rich? That's what he meant.
Yeah, it said marry well, and then it also was talking about the who you're partners with in life, business, friends, and then who you're around. So it was broadening the scope, but also I do remember the part you're talking about, Taylor.
I was really shocked.
Where it was like talking about being with the creative is difficult.
Yes. I'm sure it is. Like,
it's like, you're fucking welcome, man. You're welcome.
But like, if you're not cooking, cleaning, or doing your own editing and emotional regulation, maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Yeah, that maybe, yeah.
Your partner does not need to be doing that stuff. Anyway, that was the only thing I disagreed with in this book, which is far different from the previous book we read together.
Yeah, at least that wasn't chapter 2. That was.
It was not chapter 2. Where
literally everybody. Oh, go on. Everybody that I tell to read Big Magic, I'm like, read Big Magic, chapter 2 is garbage. Just
Yep.
read it.
Yep.
It's still
Yep.
good. Just chapter 2 is garbage.
Just don't read chapter 2. Just skip that.
So funny.
Chapter 10 says, nothing is more paralyzing than the idea of limitless possibilities. That is fucking true. I love that. Like, you gotta limit yourself in order to really be creative. And there's a thing I did a couple years in a row called Sketchbook Boot Camp. And it's basically you pay to be part of this community and you all work on the same prompts every day. And every day you sit down and draw. It only has to be like 5 or 10 minutes. There's like no time.
Oh, I remember seeing these.
It was really great. And because it was limited, she'd say, draw a building, use paper and pen. You have 15 minutes. And that
so it was actually a time frame that you met. Everybody in the group met.
Sometimes it was timed and sometimes it wasn't. But she'd always give you a medium. Sometimes she'd give you a color palette, say you could only use these 2 colors. And it really did like kick me out of my box, and I came up with all this art that was not anything like what I'd done before. And I didn't get paralyzed of what should I draw, because there it was right there. And I don't do it anymore only because she really nerfed it. Like, people who didn't have any discipline to show up every day, which I don't know why I was able to do that, probably because of the community aspect, but people who weren't able to show up every day would be like, oh my God, I'm so far behind, I can never catch up now. So now she does like one every other day, but the price is the same. And it's expensive. So I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. But it was
every other day really ruins a flow for me.
Yeah. Which is funny considering what we just said about not doing things every day.
100%.
But I mean, that makes sense. You were just saying that the everyday thing doesn't. Becca, you were saying the everyday thing doesn't motivate you.
Well, yeah, but also I think there's a difference between motivating to yourself and being accountable to somebody else too. Like she's like, why the fuck aren't you here? You know, like it's almost an attendance situation. Like,
but that lady doesn't care, right?
She doesn't care, but then everybody in the Facebook group or whatever is posting their drawings of the day, and you want to post yours too, you know?
Yeah.
Hi, my cat's here to say hi. Buster, come here. Hi. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, right at that, talking about the constraints, there was something I wrote down, embrace your limitations and keep moving. So it was, in one way, I was thinking of like, Becca, you're like, the throwing is not, you can't throw the way you used to. So it's like, how do you adapt to that with what you can and what you can't do? And it's just like, hey, this is what we got to work with.
And you've adapted really well. You've come up with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but I do think that I don't limit myself sometimes. I think that whole limiting creativity is hard for me. The whole paralyzing, like, that whole, like, if you don't limit yourself, it's paralyzing. Like, I do think that my brain is there's so much in here that I'm sure I could have been like famous and like rich if I would have just limited myself, you know, because there's really good ideas in here, but they all kind of just splurtle out. Like,
you mean if you had focused on one track, then you would have gotten further on it.
For sure, 100%.
I think I agree with that too. As somebody who does a lot of different things, like if I poured all of my energy and focus every single day into this one thing, but then you have no facets. Like, you're not a rich.
But Ryan did it.
Okay, it works for some people, but he has other stuff he does too.
That's true.
He doesn't just do one thing.
Yeah.
But then you have to straddle. Then you have to straddle like 5 and 6 things that you're like semi deep into, and there's a couple things that you're pretty deep into, and you've got to like. For me, I'm like, well, I can't let that drop, so I got to like nurture it somehow.
Yeah.
But you can't really give it the full attention that it deserves. But maybe I'm skilled enough that I can like do enough to keep it going and like have the it seems like it's fully thought out and
Yeah,
given
good
more
enough
attention
is
than it
there's
has.
something to be said for that.
I've seen this quote a lot that says it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be done.
Yep.
And
Love
I
that.
really like that.
Or done is better than perfect, or done is better
Yeah.
than something
good.
like that. Yeah.
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 Which is so true. And I think that has a lot, like, I'm really embracing that in those like journal type things that I'm doing, like the art journals. It's just by like, whatever, it just has to be fucking done, and sometimes doing that. And even when you do pottery, like if you even flip it back to pottery and you're like in a rush and you're like, it doesn't have to be perfect, I just need to get this fucking done. You find things that you're like, holy shit, this whole time I could have been doing it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, you
And this
remove
is
the
dreaming.
fluff.
Yeah, like your whole life has changed,
Yes.
because now you've skipped 2 minutes of a process that you didn't even need, so.
I used to really struggle with that in my voice acting because I wasn't sure like how clean the audio needed to be before I sent it out.
Mm,
And then sometimes I'd like rush through it and not like clean up all the little clicks and pops and things. And then the client didn't care.
yeah.
Like they
Mhm.
just don't pay attention to that level of detail that I pay attention to. Or like
Yeah.
I'd go
Right.
back and redo like half a sentence because it just didn't sound like exactly perfect. And yeah, I
Mhm.
sure don't do that anymore. I just rip through stuff.
Mhm. But I also think that it comes to a point where you can do that, like as somebody who does a lot of workshops with people that have never like touched clay before or something like that. You look at these people and you can tell who cares and who doesn't, but who's like naturally gifted in certain things. Like I look at those things and I'm like, wow, I could have, like, I showed you exactly what to do and you just fucked it all up.
Yes.
Right? I'm like, where did that go?
How did you even do
Mhm.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, but also I've been doing this for 15 years. So me not caring is not the same as somebody who hasn't done it not caring.
Right, because you've got all
It's
that muscle memory
completely
and instinct.
different. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
completely different.
Mhm.
My level of not caring is a level 10, whereas somebody else's level of not caring is a 0.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't know what point I'm making
Yeah,
with that,
your
but
huge mistakes. You've had way more huge mistakes than they've ever tried doing
yeah,
anything
Yes.
with it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
you're
Like
like
you still
seeing
have to
them do.
try.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you still have to try. Just because it's not perfect doesn't mean you don't have to try. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Some reason it's talking about the flexibility. I wrote down practice productive procrastination. That was it was related to bouncing between
Mm.
project, and I like that. And it kind of reminded me of I don't know who said this, but it was like procrasticlean, where you're like
Oh.
I'm putting off doing work in the studio, so I procrasticlean my studio.
That's
I
one of my
love that.
favorite things to do. Yeah, like if I'm having a day, I don't know if you all have this, but I have this thing that I call neurodivergent waiting, and it's just when you have a thing that day, you can't do a fucking thing until that thing happens, but you've got to wait around for it. I don't
Mhm.
know why this happens, but those are my cleaning days. I can clean the kitchen,
Mm.
I can clean the bedroom, I can do all these tasks I've been putting off like for weeks because they don't take any brain.
And you can
Mm.
never get so deep into it that you're like, well, fuck. I don't want to get
Yeah.
stopped right in the middle of doing this
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly.
Like you can wipe a counter down and be like, okay, I didn't wipe the other counter down because I had to go do the thing.
Right.
The
yeah.
only time that happens is when you empty out all your cupboards. That's an issue.
Yeah, maybe that's not a job for those particular days
Yeah.
because you don't want to leave it. But like
Yeah.
cleaning the baseboards, I don't want to do that on a normal day, but on
I
a
don't want to
waiting
do that
day,
any day.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you
I
clean your
need something to
baseboards?
like fill up. Well,
Yeah, but you just use a
Sophie does it, I
Swiffer.
don't know.
Use a
Sophie
Swiffer.
thinks it needs to be done. I've never done it before.
Sophie's so old school. She's
You're like-
showing her age, okay?
You're like dusting. I'm like, people,
Dusting.
how much do you those mugs must be filled with dust. I'm like, don't put
Are they?
dust. I don't know. We don't dust.
And yet
But,
they're
like,
not filled with dust.
No, it's I don't know. I use them enough or I neglect them enough that I don't
He
really...
also thinks his floor is super clean, but if you walk in there barefoot, you know.
Uh-oh.
Why are you barefoot? Are you talking about my studio floor?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. I mean, you're gonna get a little dust, but it's not. You're not kicking up dust.
Lots of dust.
Oh no. Look after your lungs.
No, it's not that bad.
Okay.
I mean, it is clean. It for sure is clean.
Yeah, if I'm trimming and there's scraps on the floor, I pick those scraps up. I'm not leaving them on the floor.
Oh, that's really good of you. I have one area between the two wheels that accumulates scraps, and sometimes then the cats think it's a litter box.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's happened to me in a wood shop.
Oh no.
That was rough.
It's bad.
Rough.
When Buster was a baby, he thought my box of packing materials was a litter box. It was like
Lloyd
shredded
pooped in a
paper.
cardboard box last week.
Good boy, Lloyd. He knew it was a
was
box.
It was my fault. It wasn't his fault.
What was in it?
Packing paper.
Oh. I bet
Yeah.
poop, I guess.
Well, I wasn't letting him outside because he got a thingy on him. And he was telling me that he wanted to go outside. And I was like, no, bitch. And he was telling me because he really needed to poop.
Oh.
So.
Poor baby.
And then I carried him out of the studio and he pooped all the way out.
Oh my God, you're holding him?
You had to go so bad.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Lloyd.
But thankfully he's a healthy boy, so it was just like picking up dog shit, so it was fine.
Good. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I have a thing. The last highlight I have is from his 10 years later afterward. And it says, many a bookseller has told me this book is the most shoplifted in the store.
I did see that.
That's amazing.
Really?
That does not mean steal this book. Are people really that literal? Oh my God.
That is amazing. It's also like probably the smallest fucking book on the shelf.
That is true. Easy to stuff down your pants.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Ryan, from your notes?
Yeah, I was trying.
I got 12% left on my battery. Just so you know.
I like the. I mean, chapter 6 was talking about after you get out of college and the freedom you have when you're like figuring it out, and that you never really get that freedom back once people start paying attention to you and paying you money for it. That you kind of need to. Because when you get to that point, nobody's paid to care about you. Nobody's paid to like look after your work. You're going to school. Your peers are paying to be there. Like they're all like have to care about talking to one another and getting your insights. But like once you're out of there, you're on your own.
Nobody cares about you anymore. Yeah. I definitely remember feeling that. Like I was a big fish in a small pond at college, and then it was like, good luck, kid. Like, have fun on your auditions. Good luck not getting any jobs.
So it was saying you want attention only when you're doing really good work, and there's no pressure when you're unknown. So it was like,
develop your goodness then.
Take your time, realize it's you got to be patient, and then it was talking about like sharing, and it was kind of talking about sharing secrets, like deciding what you want to, like he was encouraging sharing secrets, but some people nowadays with Instagram, like I get it why some people don't. But he was like, if you're worried about sharing secrets, share your dots, but don't connect them.
I love that.
Because you can totally decide what you want to publish and what you don't. So.
Yeah.
I do think because it's like, it builds value in the work that you're making because customers can see what goes into it. And a little behind the scenes, I feel like it's a little stale if all you see is finished work from people.
Agreed.
Because it's like, man, I'd like to see, like, you're missing so much of what makes it interesting when you just skip to the step 15.
Yeah. And that's what, like you said, it's what gives it value too. Like people can see like, oh, this actually takes you many hours in order to produce like one mug.
Advancer kiln shelves are the best shelves in the business. Made out of silicon carbide, they resist glaze, so they're perfect for teachers and students alike. With the handy-dandy glaze erasure, you can wipe away all your glaze mistakes. This is especially a great thing in community studios. Now thinner than ever, the advanced Ultras are 4 millimeters. Back problems from lifting shelves are a thing of the past with the new Ultra Thins. Advancer shelves are an investment in your kiln's happiness. You can find all these magical products at kilnshelf.com. And now back to the podcast.
And then the only other area is talking about being your location doesn't matter as much these days because we're so interconnected with the internet. You know, you can live anywhere. That also benefits if you're trying to make a living, like financially. You don't physically have to be in like a huge city to make it worth it for you, but it also factors into like fulfilling you and feeding you creatively, socially, spiritually, and literally in certain places. So you want to be somewhere that makes you feel good and also like fuels you.
Yeah. That whole point, like where he was talking about being in solitude, for winter and summer, like when he's in Texas in the summer, he stays inside because it's so hot. And when he was in like Wisconsin, he would always stay inside when it was winter. And that time has like really been a good time for him to like really figure out what he wants to do and like his creativity. And I thought that was really interesting.
Bad weather leads to better art is what
Yeah,
he's talking
bad
about
weather
in
leads
there.
to better
Yeah.
art. Yeah.
Opposite for me, but to each their own.
Right, exactly. It does, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about once the days get shorter and it's dark out at 5 o'clock. You're like, what?
Yeah, I just want to go to bed.
I don't know what time. Like,
See, I'm the opposite. Like when it gets dark out, that's when my brain turns on. So I'm like, let's fucking go. I've always loved it when it started getting dark at like 4.
Oh, I'm a plant. I'm basically a plant with really big feelings. If there's no sun, and that's why winter's so bad for me, is because it's just cloudy for literally weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like I'm living underneath a bowl.
You need to be snowbirds.
I know, but we just don't have snowbird cash. And besides, they don't like trans people the further south we go.
There is that. There is that.
It's not like we can go to Florida or something.
You may be able to
there-
make it in Miami.
Mm-mm,
Maybe.
not
But
anymore.
nobody wants to go to Miami.
I grew up there. I don't want to.
are there
Yuck.
physical things in the home that kind of bring your spirits up when you have to be inside and it's dark out and like something that you use that helps with that?
Only video games. Only escapism.
Video games.
Yeah. And exercise. But it's really hard to move when you're really depressed.
Yeah.
So sometimes I force myself to like do the fitness marshal or something like that. But I think
Oh my
this
God, I
year,
love him.
I know, right? I think this year I'm gonna end up doing a lot more yoga classes. Especially if I can get Sophie to drive me around because I can't drive after dark because my eyes are shitty. But I have a friend who's a yoga teacher and she teaches at the Inner Warrior, which is like this yoga store. But it also has this great vibe with like huge colorful murals on the walls and like the lighting is perfect
Yeah.
and like everything's just like really it's a great place to practice and like be around other people, which really usually helps me like just to get out of my head and to move, you know. I think that's gonna help me a lot this year. And I bought some more lights, including
Lights are big, man. I'm a big light person. I
Yeah,
like
you've
lights.
got those ones on the roof of your van.
I love lights, and those aren't even bright enough for me, honestly. Like, I love light.
Yep. But only
Yeah, it's got to be
but
the
not
right
if it's the
light.
sun.
It can't be like the yellow.
Oh,
light.
not me. Any light for me. Any bright light.
I don't do
Like,
fluorescents. but
See,
everything
people
else.
are like, I hate walking in Walmart, and I'm like, bring it on. Let's fucking go.
Oh God. It's like
I know I'm a robot. I don't know why.
your brain likes that particular wavelength.
Yeah.
So you would just be in the van working once it's dark out, and you're just like, "Fuck it, let's go."
I'll turn on
Hell
all my
yeah.
lights now and go.
Get the lights. Do you still have like an LED like strip light as well?
No, I gave that to you.
I know you gave it to me. I just don't know if you still had one, or
No.
you just have the hanging lights that are in there.
I just have the hanging lights, and I wish I did have the LED strip light. but it used too much energy, I feel like. So, yeah, I'm
Maybe it'd
still
be worth
figuring
it.
out.
It's
I'm
a trade-off, right? You really enjoy it,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
maybe it's
I
worth it.
really do enjoy it. I really like bright lights.
Maybe you
Like
can
I mean,
find
how
one that
much of your
isn't
battery
so.
are you really using? Are you
That's a
really
good
on
point.
empty, or but you're also
No,
gonna have less solar input
right.
during the day, so
Yeah, I know. Like here, I've had to charge from the house a little bit. By the way, I'm in like an 1830s Victorian mansion right now.
Holy shit.
It's so fucking cool. I mean, it's not a mansion, I guess, but it's like 5,000 square feet, not including the basement and not including the attic. It's giant,
That's
giant.
so cool.
The railing, it's got uh stained glass as one of the
Gosh.
windows, and the railing has a notch for your fingers as you go up.
Wow.
ooh.
And I'm looking, it's like dark red mahogany. Like what she said, it was like red cherry. It's like a wood that's literally not available in the United States anymore because it's
Wow.
gone.
Wow.
So, yeah, this house is phenomenal. I should have
Yeah, I
taken
love that.
videos,
I love that character.
but
Yes, take some videos and put them on Instagram,
I'm
please,
leaving
'cause I want to see it.
tonight.
You
I
still
should
have
I should do
time.
like a quick walkthrough because they
Yeah.
do a bed and breakfast, so it would be nice to advertise for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so cool.
We
There's
could probably
actually
look
Well,
up the bread and
yeah, but
breakfast.
if you're
Oh,
looking,
yeah.
Bed and
if you're
breakfast thing.
looking it up, if you want to see the house, look up the Hatch House, Hatch, and it's in Towanda, Pennsylvania.
Hatch
Um,
House. So you're in
so
Pennsylvania now?
I'm in Pennsylvania right now, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I have a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
By a lot, I mean two.
I mean, that's a
But
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, they have their own website, hatchhousebb.com.
Yeah. It's a beautiful house. So, yeah, it's great. And they've
Yeah,
like
that's nice.
redone everything. All the like bathrooms are new, and oh my God, their bathroom, because I'm friends. I'm a friend of the family, right? It's Melissa's aunt, Melissa Beal's aunt. And their bathroom has tile through the whole shower, and then the bathtub is on the tile. So like you can like
Ooh.
splash in the bathtub and it can get on the tile outside the bathtub and it's fine. It was the best bathing experience I've ever had in my life.
Oh my gosh. This place is gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
Wow.
It's so
Looking at the
pretty.
pictures. It's got a pool.
It's got a pool in the summer. Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah, look at the stained
Yep.
glass. This is so beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want a good Airbnb, not Airbnb, it's a bed and
Bed
breakfast.
and breakfast.
So they give you breakfast. But if you want a
Old
good
school
breakfast place,
B&B.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
If you want a good
OG
breakfast
B&B.
place in like the cutest little town in Pennsylvania, you just look up the Hatch House.
That's really cool.
And they have 3 Vizslas and then a little dog.
These are great. Wow. That reminds me I need to go do a booking for Christmas because we usually stay in this B&B that's like in town.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's
fun.
like it's an it's like one of the oldest buildings in Louisville, I think. And it was really cool. We stayed in the carriage house last year and they have full-size bathtubs and it's the best.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Is that in Old Louisville?
No, it's out near St. Matthews.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we love a full bathtub because we don't have one here.
Yeah.
The one we have here is like stupid and small.
Yeah, it's so fun. Oh my gosh. It was
All right.
amazing.
Any other takeaways from the book that would you recommend it to
No,
others or reread it yourself?
I'd recommend
I
it
would not reread it. I might recommend it, but I would recommend reading it, not listening to it,
because you might fall asleep.
because you might fall asleep.
I feel like it's so quick that you're not getting so deep into something. I feel like it's
Right.
adaptable
Yeah.
to so many different people depending on where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah,
I think it's a good one for starter people and
Yeah.
seasoned people. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, we're not going to choose a new book online and say the date until we do some research. This next
yeah,
a
time.
good
because we
idea.
kind of picked it off we kind of
Yeah.
shot from the hip a little bit there on the fly last
Yeah.
time. And yeah, we might not have picked this book, but
I thought I got some good stuff out of it anyway. I like thinking about
Well, I'm
stories.
glad.
I like that it was easy.
Yes.
I got some stuff out of you talking about it.
It was very
So-
approachable, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. It is very approachable for sure.
And I'm glad you guys are like getting me to read art related books because I'm usually just like in my fiction groove. So it's good to
Dude,
What?
yes,
I don't
agree,
read any,
but
I don't read any
also
fiction books, so
speaking of fiction books, if anybody here has an Audible account, you should find the book Project Hail Mary and listen to it. It's only on Audible as a audiobook. You can like buy it on Libby to read it. It's so freaking good. I'm in the middle of it right now.
Project
I'm
what?
obsessed.
Hail Mary?
Hail Mary. Yeah. It's the same person that made the one about Mars and the potatoes.
Oh, Andy Weir.
Yeah.
The Martian. I loved that
Martian.
one. Oh my
It's
god.
so
the one that the
good.
movie's based on.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh,
And they're
Yeah.
making a movie based on Project Hail Mary coming up. But it's
Oh.
so good. It's based in first person.
Mhm.
is it about a
So-
quarterback that like threw a lot of epic Hail Marys in his day or something?
No, it's about an astronaut, but it's
Like
fine.
about an astronaut alone again. It looks like
Alone. Yeah.
sent on a
But-
mission to save the solar system.
Mm.
Yeah. He's kind of alone. It's really good. You can't really talk about it without spoiling it, honestly.
Sounds a little Interstellar like.
It is very Interstellar like.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not 2.5 hours long.
It is 16 hours long.
I'm
'Cause it's
talking
a
about the
book.
movie.
It'll probably be 3.
If they do a good job.
Yeah.
There's one I read. Oh god, I was reading it last year when I was in my sewing phase. I should do that again. Sewing is fun. About the oh my god. It was like about uplift and like spiders gaining sentience on a planet that was deserted, and I don't know. It was really cool. But I
Ah.
can't remember the name of it now, unfortunately.
I am like typically not a fiction reader at all. I'm typically only nonfiction. But somebody
like that
recently
one.
told me that if you don't read nonfiction, it's kind of like the same thing about stealing. Maybe we should end on this, is that nonfiction never gives you original ideas, and fiction like stretches your mind, your creative mind,
Mm,
and it makes you think about things that you would normally not think about.
it's true.
So, yeah.
I'm
I was
looking
like,
through my
that
book list of
makes
last
sense.
year to try to find it, and I came across this one where it's like the premise of this book is that a wormhole opened in IKEA into like all of these different worlds, and you just
Oh my God, that's amazing.
yeah, it's called Finna. It's short. It's really funny, and interesting. But that's not the one I was thinking of with the
A
uplifts. But
wormhole in
anyway.
IKEA. It makes you think of King of California. That movie that Becca you
Oh
told me
my-
about.
Did I make you watch that, or did you watch it?
I did watch it, yeah.
It's so good.
It was all right. It's a little indie for me, but
It's a little indie for me.
it was good though.
Children of Time. I think that's what it was called.
I do get that about the nonfiction,
Halloween
though,
is a good
'cause-
movie.
I didn't say it was a good movie. It's a classic movie, but
You can like
Sure.
a movie without it being good.
Mm,
Three Ninjas. Hell yeah.
that's true. Oh my God.
Three Ninjas. Is that
It's a
movie?
little too indie for me, but you should watch Three Ninjas.
That's one of those things where you watch it when you're young, and it
Mm.
obviously it doesn't
And it
hold up
resonates.
if you just you associate it with just growing up and you watched it so many times as a kid that it just sticks. You're always gonna love that movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure there's movies like that for you all.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or TV shows. I mean, a lot of TV shows don't hold up, but
Yeah.
you remember it for that place in your life. So
I'm thinking about Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which does, I think, hold up, but I'm a very specific sort of musical theater nerd. And
Dr. Sing Along, yes.
Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, and it's Nathan Fillion and fucking
What's his face?
Neil Patrick Harris
Yeah.
and
Laundry Day. See you there. Under things tumbling.
Exactly.
Want to say,
it's really good.
love your hair. It's so good.
Yes, I love that. I've done several covers actually from that particular show. It's an excellent show. But anyhow, that was born of creative constraints, the writer's strike. They couldn't make anything.
Oh yeah.
And Joss Whedon, who was not famous at the time, was just like, "You guys want to like make a musical or something?" And they all the guys were like, "Okay." So that's what they did.
So good.
So cool. So cool. Anyway, this has been fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for our next one. We'll plan it. We won't plan the date yet, but we will plan it and then we'll say it on our Instagram.
Yeah, yes. I feel like we loosely, when we talked about it last time, we were talking about quarterly or every
like once
few
a quarter.
months or something like that. I can't remember the cadence, but
maybe like February.
Yeah.
When I'm in the depths of my winter despair.
Well, then maybe the beginning of February.
I'm getting a tattoo on the beginning of February.
Perfect.
On the first day of February. It's going to be
You
Shy
schedule
Guy.
it out that far?
Yeah, she only opens her books like twice a year. So you have to like get in there if you want to get.
Oh.
Yeah. Tattoo artists tend to really be like that. But she's quite in demand, so.
There's a tattoo artist in Cincinnati actually that does bees doing different things. And they're so cute. And I was like, do you have any openings? And from what I can tell, he never has any openings because I want him to do a bee doing pottery.
Dude, he probably just opens his books a certain time during the year.
He literally said, like, make sure you watch my stories. I'm like, bro.
Mm-hmm. That's what you gotta do. If you want to.
That's how he rolls.
Yep.
When you're that in demand and you just know this is what's on my schedule.
Man, we could all hope to be that.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like it's so easy for people that just do that, but then you become like a robot.
Yeah, and like having that far scheduled out, yikes.
Are you living to work or are you working to live? Like,
right?
What if you have your car goes out or you get sick or something? Like, oh, it seems like a lot of pressure.
Rough.
I'm glad I'm not living like that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Anyways, yeah. So like
maybe we'll announce
February.
the next book. Yeah, we'll probably announce it on the podcast. A different podcast episode.
They could read along with us
when it's coming up.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I wonder how many people read this with
write
the
us
intention
in,
of being that it's coming out when it is. So, because we did announce it last time that it was coming out the 9th, I believe. So.
Oh. Yeah.
Just in time.
Yay.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna find Taylor, Backyard Killing on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know where to find us. Or TikTok. There you go.
Yep.
Sweet. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hey everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.